Good morning, everybody. This is Brian Warbaugh from Bar Electrical Solutions, also known as the Weekend Master Electrician. Today's video, we're going to go over some of my Dewalt and Klein impact drivers, my Klein socket driver, and my Dewalt DCD 999 drill. So, just go over. So the impact drivers I have, Dewalt and Klein, they're fairly close in size. Klein is not made by Dewalt, by the way. I know some people think it is because it does take Dewalt batteries as well. They made a deal with Dewalt that they could model their tools to accept their batteries, so they didn't have to get into the battery business. So now, if you notice the differences with these two drills, and all I have in both 5 amp hour batteries, try to keep them close as possible. The Klein is a little taller. The Klein does have a little more power, but it's not noticeable in your hand, believe me, it's not. So the difference that I see is, if you look, they both have lights on the front. The Dewalt light is better. It does provide a little better lighting than the Klein. Also, if you look at the handles, I mean, I do have a fairly big hand, but just grabbing it without putting my finger on the trigger, it really doesn't fit to where the Klein, the handle is a little longer. Now, I know some of you don't think it matters because your finger is going to be on the trigger, but you know, I always wear gloves when I'm working, and these are just the basic Klein gloves. They're pretty form-fitting to your hand, a little cut resistant, protect your hands. So again, that really doesn't matter. But again, if you look at the handle on the Dewalt, my hand really doesn't fit it if I'm just carrying it. Now, where it really comes into play is if you're outside working and you're wearing winter gloves. And these are just Klein, they're called lineman gloves, but I mean, they're not used for working on live circuits. But now, as you can see, my hand is really big compared to this Dewalt. Klein took that in consideration, and they actually make the Klein a little more comfortable to work with when you're wearing gloves because of this longer handle. So if you're outside and you have gloves on all the time, whether it be just regular leather gloves, whatever your job requires, if you're just looking for a good impact, Klein may be a better choice for you because of the longer handle. It does feel better in your hand when you're wearing gloves. That is the only difference I really see between the Klein and the Dewalt drills, the impact drivers. So now, also the Klein is not adjustable as where the Dewalt. You do have the 3 settings here for speed settings for it. So for all around use, I would say the Dewalt will probably be better. If you're going to buy the Klein, it's just because you always have gloves on and you just want that longer handle to have that better feel. All right. So I did get the Klein. This is the 1/2-inch brushless impact wrench. Again, takes Dewalt batteries, and I have the 5 amp hour battery in it. I do not have the Dewalt version of this just because I don't feel I need it. For an impact driver, this is actually, for impact socket wrench, this is all I would need. I did use this when I put all the shelving in my van. It worked great. This also has a low light on it as well. Does lock. It does not have any adjustments on it. I do have a set of these Klein dual size sockets. They work really well. Now, the only problem I have with this, they don't come off that easy. You really have to put something in that little hole there to push down on that pin to release it. It is a good thing if you're working in the air, working on a man lift or in a bucket truck, they don't come out. But this is really nice. I mean, I've used it for multiple things. Tighten up the exhaust on my motorcycle, everything. It is small, compact, very easy to get around. You can even make it smaller by putting a 2 amp hour battery in there, depending on what you're using it for. It is nice. Again, it has the longer handle, just like the other Klein, made for if you're working outside and you have gloves on. I do think I don't have the Dewalt to compare it to, but I'd imagine that the Dewalt has a little more functionality, but it does have the shorter handle as well. Now, I did bring my drill out. This is the DC D999. It does come with a handle on it as well. I usually don't use the handle on it. It does have 3 speeds on it. It also has light adjustment on it, so you can adjust the lights on it so they're different. It does have, and the light is down here on the bottom of the handle. It does fit really good in your hand. And again, this is a 5 amp hour battery. The DeWalts come with these little clips. I put them on because you do clip them on your belt or your harness or whatever you have it on, so it holds it. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people use impact wrenches all day long, but if you need to drill, this is the drill I would recommend out of all the DeWalts that they have out there, is the DCD 999. Now, I bought it in a kit with this impact wrench. It comes in a kit. And I waited to get this kit because of this particular drill. I know they make a smaller impact now, but I really don't see any value in that. So this does take flex volt batteries as well as all the DeWalts, and the Kleins do take the flex volt as well. The DeWalts are set up so they know what voltage it is. And now, what I want to talk about, so I was talking to a young man probably about a month ago, and he wanted to know what to use for, should he buy a kit, and he didn't have the money to buy a nice kit, to buy a drill, an impact driver, and that's what he was looking for. And I try to explain to him, you know, I've been doing this for 20 some years. We didn't have all this stuff when I was coming up. If you were lucky, you could afford a drill that did everything. And that's what this does. You can put a masonry bit in there, drill your holes. You can switch it out. You can put your screws in. I mean, when I was coming up, this is all I had. I mean, obviously it was a different version. I think my first drill was a Makita, and it wasn't even a hammer drill. It was just something that, when I was hanging services and stuff, I would have dragged a battery drill up with me. I mean, not the battery, the corded drill up, hammer drill up with me with the extension cord on the ladder. I would drill the holes with that. Makita to screw in the hole, screw in the screws, and put my bands in all the way down the wall. And my first hammer drill was a Dewalt, and I had that thing forever, and somebody broke into the van and stole it while we were in between service calls. I bought another Dewalt drill, and then I ended up with, I had my 18 volt Dewalt drill probably for years. I probably had that thing for 10 years, no, 15 years, and it finally burned up, and then I went and bought a new set, which is what I have here. And this thing is great. Now, if I only had to bring one drill on a job, I wouldn't grab my impact driver, I wouldn't grab my my socket, this would be the one drill that I had for anything. So if any apprentices out there or guys just getting in the field, or just even somebody who's DIY who just wants a drill that can do just about everything, this drill can do everything. It is a 1/2 inch. You could put bigger masonry bits in. I've drilled holes through poured concrete with an 18-inch bit on this, just to sleeve a piece of wire through it. It handles it just fine. So if you can only, if money is an issue and you can only buy one at the time, this is the one I recommend. The Dewalt DCD 999. It'll do everything for you. And that's not saying that nothing's wrong with getting an impact. If you can get the set, obviously it's cheaper to buy a set. But I would probably recommend going with the Dewalt because you can buy them in the set, as to where the Klein, they're individual, and you buy them, I think Amazon may have them to where you can buy them with a battery or not, but I bought these tools only. I am a Klein guy, so I bought them just to have them. Now I do work out of 2 vehicles. I do have a van and I do have a pickup that I do service calls and stuff in, or just to hang a light or some really small job. That's where I keep my Kleins. I keep my Kleins in that truck. And then in my van, I do all the work in. I keep my Dewalt stuff because everything I have is basically Dewalt, and batteries are interchangeable. Everything I have is interchangeable with those as well. So I know this was a short video. I wasn't going to do any demonstrations. There's plenty of videos on YouTube to show that. I just wanted to go over with these and show you the differences. The main differences, I wanted to show you what are the impacts with the long handle versus the short handle. But versatility, the Dewalt will win out because it is more versatile. It does give you a little more. The only benefit that the Klein has over the Dewalt is the longer handle for if you're working outside wearing gloves. But that's pretty much it. If you want to see more on any of these tools or anything like that, just leave me some questions, leave some comments. Please like and subscribe, and that's pretty much it. If you have anything else that you want me to go over that you've seen in my truck or any of my other videos, just let me know and I'll get to it. But other than that, everybody have a happy holiday, and I'll probably talk to you again sometime next year.